Welcome to Secrets from the Saddle podcast. I'm Sylvie, your host, fellow cyclist, bike club founder, cycling coach, bike race junkie, just truly super passionate about cycling. My journey with cycling started 20 years ago when I opened a spin studio, started a women's race team, and founded a women's only cycling club called Cycle Fit Chicks. I'm super thrilled to reveal all aspects that make the world of cycling operate. I'm so excited to be able to bring you interesting people from around the world, pro cyclists, recreational cyclists, coaches, event organizers, bike shop owners, everything and everyone you need to know or ever wondered about when it comes to cycling. I know you'll enjoy this episode. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, all things cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie Doe, and I'm sitting in beautiful Chelsea, Quebec, Canada. Let me see. We've had some really good sun lately. No rain in the forecast, so that's kind of good. And so what we're going to be talking about today, now, here's the thing, everybody. I would love to encourage some interaction this year, okay? Because it's been 3 years, and I've been asking, trying to get conversations started about what you would like to hear on this podcast and getting stories from you and referrals. So I want to make it my mission this year, moving forward from today, because it's September 1st. So it's time, it's the last quarter of the year. It's time to look at some changes to just get to know you guys and who my audience is. So what I would love to do is invite you to subscribe to the podcast. Now, we have a website now. It's secretsfromthesaddlepodcast.ca. And when you go there, it leads you to Bcast, which is the platform for which I upload all these amazing episodes. And then there's an area just at the top where you can say subscribe. So basically that email will go to me, and I have a little letter that I send out, and I invite you to join me in a Facebook group. So what I've started this year, really moving forward, this fall is the time for changes for this podcast. And I want to do more cycling related get-togethers and little virtual parties where I share information about my experiences with cycling, my races, the gear I have, all sorts of things. But I can't do that if I don't have the ability to invite you. So being in the Facebook page, you can certainly go and search Dow Training Systems if you want to go there. And there will be an option to join the page. Or you can go through and I'll send you an email invite. Because this fall, what I'm going to be doing is, if you're local, which is awesome, if you're local, we're doing some sort of little, it's kind of clinics, wine and working on our bikes. So basically, I don't know if anybody has some jazzy name for that. It's wine and wax, we'll sit down and you'll learn how to wax your bike, wax your chain. And so that's super cool. I've decided to do that. And like I mentioned, I'm putting together a virtual dinner party where I've had lots of questions about my trip and my race at Unbound. And because it was literally a 7-day experience, I wanted to share that with you because it's really hard just sort of talking about it and showing pictures. And what I'm going to be doing is have a whole setup, a table, and I'm going to show you in little and talk about certain things about how I put together my training, how I traveled, what I thought about, and the gear I used, my bike, my food. And then we're going to have like little social breakout rooms, so where you guys can talk and powwow about things that you're interested in, and like, what do you do? What's your favorite snacks? So it's really, really cool that I just want to do more for the cycling community. So and you, my audience. So that's what's on the go. So make sure that you take a moment and search or go to www.secretsfromthesaddlepodcast.ca and subscribe so that I can invite you to my private Facebook page. Alrighty. Now, so what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to take, since it's September 1st, this is going to be published in a couple of days. We're going to take a look at, I want you to take a look at your summer. Like, what was it like? How did it unfold? Because I know we never know what's going to happen. Like, crazy things might happen, like a death in the family or a sick parent or an injury or work or, you know what I mean? Things can just come into your life that just keep you from doing the amazing things that you want to do on your bike. And like this year for me was like eye-opening. Like, I just start looking at a lot of other people who are doing really, really fascinating things around cycling. And I'm just like, yeah, there's so much to do, right? And then it's like, okay, how can I fit this into the next 10 years? Because you can't do everything at once. It costs money. It takes time. You have family. But it's nice to start putting together a bit of a plan, a bit of a vision, a bit of some goals that are yearly, that are going to get you to where you want to go. And so that's what I want to talk about. So first, and also, right, like when you get into my Facebook page, it's about sharing with others your passion around cycling and what you're doing, and just, friending new people. So assessment, where are you right now? Like, if you look at the year, like, where are you sitting? Are you new to cycling? Like, did you just get your bike in the last 2 years? And like maybe last winter you sat on Swift and you put a couple events in your calendar, or you had a goal of climbing up to a top of a lookout. What was your beginning of the season goal? So for that, like if you're sitting there and you're listening to this, I want you to think about that. And if you have a piece of paper, just pull it over and go, Or maybe you have a journal. This might be a good place to put in a journal. You might go, what was my beginning of the season goal? And if you can't remember, if you didn't have one, this is a good time to now, start looking to the future. But if you had a beginning of the season goal, or maybe last year you set a goal, or maybe you don't even have one, you're like, what are you talking about? This is a great exercise to keep you focused and intentional, so that you're not all over the place, because right now, winter's coming for a lot of us who are in the north where it snows and we start migrating inside onto Swift. What are you going to do in the winter? Like, what's your winter going to look like, right, for cycling training? Or maybe you're like some of my friends who just hang up the bike and get on the skis. But let's just say, ski season might not be good until January. So what are you going to do till then, right? So let's go back and write down, how did your summer unfold? Did you achieve your goals? Did you come short? Did you end up missing an event because of something else? And then maybe you replace it with something else. Or because I have a friend who's, shout out to Melanie, that she was supposed to go to BC and do a huge stage race, and they canceled it because of all the fires. So, and that was supposed to be happening, I think it was like maybe last 2 weekends. So that's a huge thing that she was working towards all winter long with me in our training program, and then all summer in her cycling, and then all of a sudden it's gone, right? You've done all this volume, all this training, and now you're not going to BC. You're not like, so sometimes it can really damper like your attitude and your feelings, and I was supposed to go there and now I'm not. Now what am I going to do? And I mean, if I was out, I'd be moving on, like, great. I don't have to go to BC, like I don't have to ride up those mountains. But and you refocus. Are you going to do it next year? Or are you just going to scrap that and move on to something else? So what did your summer look like? Did you have good rides? Did you have bad rides? What did you learn? What did you take away from mentors or other friends? Did you learn things about your bike? Did you have a flat? Are you now proficient in, changing flats? What did your summer look like? Okay. So I'll share a little bit about what my summer looked like. So I literally, I set up my summer to be top heavy, meaning like I knew what I was doing through the winter for my winter training. I was in a scheduled and organized program, so I didn't have to think about that. And then I had a beginning event. So that was Barry-Roubaix, which was in April. And then I had about 6 weeks until I traveled to Kansas for Unbound. And literally, so that, if you followed my podcast, that happened. And then immediately the week after, I was in Toronto for the Ride to Conquer Cancer. And I told, I said that was it. Like, if I survive those 2 weekends, then the rest of the summer is just bonus riding. Like, I did not put anything on my schedule. I said, okay, like, I can't do that to my family, right? Like, those are 2 weeks, 2 weekends that I was gone. And so I just said, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not putting anything else on the schedule. If I happen to do something, great, fine, I'll go do it. But that is how I set my summer up. And it ran as clockwork. Like, everything went amazing. So I'm super grateful for that. And then I had a great summer. I did my gravel, my women's gravel event. That went fantastic. And so that was kind of like the next thing that I had to focus on. So it wasn't so much about riding, it's about organizing that event. And then it just rolled into kid stuff and, just things with family. We had a family reunion. So that's why I didn't want to schedule anything. Like, I just wanted to be open to doing whatever that came around. Now, I reached my goals. I didn't finish Unbound, which was a goal. So as you know, I'm going to go back there. But everything else I said that I was going to do, I did. And I'm super happy and super grateful for the whole summer. Now, just ask yourself, was that you? And if you didn't really have anything to focus on, let's start thinking about next year. Because honestly, friends, like, I've already got my race schedule. I had it 2 weeks ago. I've got it up on my whiteboard, and I added, so I'm doing the 2 same events, but I'm adding another 500-kilometer event that's in Quebec. Okay, ridiculous, right? So I don't think I can do anything more than that. So So now that the summer's over, what are you looking forward to? Like, I started asking some of my club members, I'm like, okay, like you've had a great summer, if you've achieved a couple goals, you're new to cycling, what do you want to do that's going to make you great or make you better next year? It's not about being competitive. It's about being like, being able to go further with other people and experience other things and strengthen your legs so you can do things like that. So yeah, now that the summer's over, you either achieved or you fell a little short, what are we going to do moving forward? And what is that going to look like? Like, are you going to be training inside? Are you a cross-country skier? Are you just going to continue riding? Like, is it going to be structured? What are you doing? It doesn't have to be like super duper planned, but it's always good to have kind of a plan so that you actually progress and get better at what you're doing, not just doing the same thing and not just, just ride, but how are you going to get better? And then just along with that, it's like resetting for next year, wiping it clean, had a fabulous summer, or things kind of took me away from cycling. Now that they're taken care of, what am I going to do? How am I going to, what am I going to do for myself next year? So that's, I just want to, put that in your ear as to what you're going to do. And again, I want to encourage you to join my community on Facebook. So it's Secrets from the Saddle podcast.ca. That'll land you in, and I'll send you an email invite, and you can choose to join us. But I also want to give a little heads up that as if you listen to Carl's podcast, he was one of my clients who trained with me last winter, and he went and he did coast to coast and he had a phenomenal time. And it was because of the winter organized training that he did with me, with us, that got him to that event safely and finishing it. So if you're starting to kind of like in the process of thinking about what you want to do over the winter and what's that going to look like and how are you going to get the type of training that you want and all those questions, consider looking at joining me for winter of training. And as that program is going to be together soon, actually in the next couple of days, and we're going to be putting it out there. So that's another thing, being part of my community, you get the opportunity to get the discount that will be rolled out before everybody else sees it. So with that, don't forget, Secrets from the Saddle podcast.ca. Join us on our private community and yeah, put some stuff down on paper. How was your summer? And what do you want to do different next year? And set some goals. Set some goals that can be, like I said, get a little faster, climb some epic climb, attend an event. It can be anything. But then how are you going to achieve it? So, assessment, putting some goals down, what do you want to improve, and how are you going to get there? Have yourself an amazing day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Secrets from the Saddle podcast, learning more about sighting people, places, and things that make cycling such an exciting sport. I am so glad you stopped by today. Please leave me a review if you feel so moved to do so. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could please leave me a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving me an honest thought and an honest comment, telling me what you think, and most importantly, tell me what you'd like to hear more of. It would really help me to bring more great, inspiring cycling stories to you. Until then, have an amazing day. Make sure you ride your bike. And don't forget to visit my YouTube channel if you'd like to see the full version of this podcast live.